Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, we're going to be going over some interesting PlayStation news. If that sounds interesting, leave a like on the video and consider subscribing if you're new. It really helps the channel grow. The first topic in the video is about how Elden Ring graphics team felt pressured after seeing Demon Souls PS5 remake. This is coming from PlayStation Lifestyle and it reads, From Software boss Hidetaka Miyazaki has revealed that Elden Ring's graphics team felt some extra pressure after seeing Bluepoint Games' stunning PlayStation 5 remake of Demon Souls. During an interview with Edge magazine, Miyazaki was quizzed about the remake's graphical fidelity and if it impacted Elden Ring's development, to which he said that From Software tends to prioritize other aspects of game development over graphics, and he feels apologetic towards the graphics team because they work extremely hard. I'm pretty sure our graphics creation staff felt that pressure more than anyone else, and not just with Elden Ring but with all the games we make. Graphical fidelity is not something we put as a top priority, so this has always been an area where I feel a little bit apologetic towards my graphics team because I know they work extremely hard. Miyazaki went on to reveal that he hasn't played Demon Souls Remake, as he previously said he avoids playing the games he makes because he doesn't enjoy them like a new player would. It brings up a lot of old emotions, a lot of old memories, and this gets a little bit overwhelming, and it doesn't feel like playing anymore. So I have not played the Demons Remake, but I am very glad to see it get this fresh look, these brand new current gen graphics. So yeah, obviously when it comes to like the graphics between Elden Ring and Demon Souls, obviously at least to me, I'm not expecting Elden Ring to look nearly as good as Demon Souls, and for any of you watching this video think that it will, I'm telling you it's not going to. That doesn't mean like the graphics are going to suck, but the main reason why is because Demon Souls was a next gen only game. It only came out on the PS5, and Elden Ring is coming out on PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. So, obviously it's going to be probably held back at least a little bit, especially since this is an open world game, so it doesn't really matter to me because the most important thing when it comes to me playing my games, it's like the story and then the gameplay and then the graphics is third, so from what I've seen from Elden Ring, it still looks really good graphically, but honestly, as long as the graphics are decent and like the gameplay is amazing and like the story is pretty good, then I'm pretty sure most people are not going to really care that Elden Ring is going to be like a step down when it comes to the graphics as far as like the Demon Souls remake. But what do you think? Do you feel like Elden Ring not being as graphically impressive as Demon Souls, do you feel like that is like a bad thing? Or do you feel like honestly, as long as the gameplay and like the story is okay, do you feel like the graphics don't really matter? Moving on to the next topic in the video, we're going to be talking about how Marvel Spider-Man players think a Daredevil appearance would have made sense. This is coming from Game Rant and it reads, After analyzing the events that take place in Marvel Spider-Man, one fan is surprised that Daredevil doesn't actually make an appearance. Marvel Spider-Man was an incredibly well-received game upon its release in 2018. After a year that brought about God of War, Detroit Become Human, and the Shadow of the Colossus remaster, Spider-Man still managed to make its mark on the gaming community, leaving both critics and fans impressed with its combat, web-slinging, and story experience. The PS4 exclusive featured many prominent characters from the Spider-Man comics. Miles Morales shared the story of the game with Peter Parker, eventually becoming Spider-Man in his own right and earning a spin-off game that released in 2020. Villains as well were aplenty in the original game, including the likes of Taskmaster, Kingpin, Electro, Rhino, and Vulture, who all made appearances in either the main story or as characters involved in side quests. One fan, though, has noticed that one notable character was missing from Marvel Spider-Man. According to a fan who posted their theory on Reddit, it made sense for Daredevil to make an appearance in Spider-Man, though the fan-favorite superhero is strangely missing from his home city of New York. With the defeat of the Kingpin and gang wars breaking out all over the city shared by both crime fighters, it seems strange that one of them is entirely missing from Marvel Spider-Man. However, it seems as though a seed for a possible Daredevil appearance has been planted by developer Insomniac Games. When slinging around the world in Spider-Man, the player can find backpacks as one of the collectibles to be found across the map. As one commenter discovered in one of these backpacks a business card for the Nelson and Murdoch law firm, Matt Murdock being Daredevil's real name. With this slight nod to Matt Murdock, it confirms that the character at least exists within the New York City, yet whether he has assumed the Daredevil persona is another question entirely. Many are suspecting, though, that with the upcoming Spider-Man 2, Daredevil will make an appearance. Daredevil is a character loved by many Marvel fans, with a successful Netflix series focusing primarily on the character and Marvel confirming the character's return to the MCU at some point. It seems that Daredevil is branching out beyond the comics and could very soon feature on the big screen. It also seems likely that Daredevil could not only appear in the Spider-Man games, but potentially his own game as well. As many fans have said, it just seems to make sense that both crime fighters of New York should bump into each other at some point. And yeah, that does make sense because they both reside in New York City. So it would make sense that at some point, that they would run into each other, I mean, me personally, this fan talking about maybe him showing up in Spider-Man 2, I don't really know if that makes sense. If you gave me the option of having Daredevil show up for a little bit in Spider-Man 2 coming out next year, or Daredevil having his own superhero game, I would much rather have his own solo game, as I'm sure most of you would. That would be awesome. I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about Daredevil, and Matt Murdock. I never watched the Netflix series. The only time I've seen him was in the new Spider-Man movie. So besides that, I don't really know any of the lore. I don't know any of his main villains and what he does. I know he's a lawyer and stuff like that, but for those of you who do know, feel free down in the comment section to let me know is Daredevil a really big Marvel character, or is he just a B-level character, Just let me know down below. But going back to Daredevil being in Spider-Man 2, or even in the first Spider-Man game, I mean, the only thing that makes sense is him making a cameo. But at the same time, I mean, I don't think fans would really want that, like I said, I'm pretty sure everyone would rather have a PS5 standalone Daredevil game, But I guess we'll just have to wait and see if he shows up in Spider-Man 2, or hopefully maybe he gets his own solo game. Moving on to the final topic in the video, we're going to be talking about a new apparent leak about Cyberpunk. Now, I don't have an article on this that I'm going to be reading to you guys because it's really long. So if you want to check it out for yourself, I will have it linked down in the description below. But basically, apparently now since it's 2022, Cyberpunk is getting ready to show off the next gen versions of Cyberpunk, and apparently they're going to be calling it Cyberpunk Samurai Edition, and it's going to be kind of them relaunching the game, which, I mean, I don't really care one way or the other. I've only played Cyberpunk once, and I told myself I would never play it again until these next gen versions come out, and hopefully when they do come out, they'll actually be worth it, but in the article itself, some of the things that it mentions, I'm sorry if I forget some things, but like I said, I will have it linked down in the description. So apparently there was one section of the game before the game originally launched back in 2020. Apparently there was this big section of the game where they cut a lot of the content out, and apparently it's going to be coming back in this new massive update, and there's smaller things like barbershops, and you might be able to customize your apartment, and when it comes to stuff like that, I don't really care. Why would I want to customize my apartment? Why would I want to get a haircut when the game is in first person? You can't even see your character most of the time, so I mean, if those things are added, that's cool, I guess, and apparently there is going to be DLC coming, and it's going to be free supposedly. Now, I mean, I won't be surprised if there's microtransactions or whatever. And apparently this is supposed to be revealed sometime next month, which means it might get released in March because, CD Projekt Red did say that it's going to be launching in the first quarter, and I'm pretty sure the first quarter ends in March, I believe. So, I mean, it would be cutting it very close to the deadline, but like I said, hopefully whenever this does come out, hopefully it's the game that we were supposed to have. I have a feeling that it's not going to be like that, I mean, don't get me wrong, I fully expect it to be like better than like what we got at launch, and even better than now, because it's like the next gen versions. And especially if there's like way better graphics, you know, no load time, stuff like that, like taking advantage of like the PS5 controller and like the haptic feedback triggers, you know. I think all that sounds cool, but you know, honestly, I mean, I don't want to speak bad about Cyberpunk anymore, because I've always said that like a year or two after this game comes out that it would end up being a really good game. But I mean, like, these next gen releases of this game has to be good, or you know, because like if these next gen versions of Cyberpunk come out and like they're broken and stuff, then the game is just gonna be screwed forever. They should just move on and make something else. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new, and turning on the post notification bell so you don't miss my next upload. Until next time, guys, take care.